Hey, Frontline fans, welcome back to Comic Frontline and fans. You're with me, Mike Spider Slayer, bringing you another installment of TV time. And today, fans, we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead season, what are we on, 5? Episode 2, otherwise known as Strangers. That's right, fans. Yeah, this episode was awesome. By the time I got to the end of it, the end was the big payoff for me, and it really gave me a timeline now of where we at in this series compared to the comic book or whatnot. But before I get to that, I wanted to give you a breakdown of this episode, my thoughts of these characters that were introduced here, and how it compares to the comic book series. So let's get started. Okay, beginning of this episode, we get to see the group reunite since the prison. You get to see them all together for the first time, and you can see that it is a large group now and strength in numbers. So Rick is really concentrating on these guys being tight together, working together, trying to reunite their relationships, trying to get things squared away. And you get to see that in the beginning of this episode with Carol and Rick as talking amongst each others, and Rick making a point going, can we join you, Carol? Because, he admits that Carol saved the entire group. If it wasn't for Carol, the whole group would be dead. And I think Carol is awesome in this series. She is the Andrea that we should have had in this series. Because that's the way Andrea's character is in the comic book series. And it looks like Carol replaced that character in the TV show. So really cool to see, and really like that. You also get to see Daryl and Carol, they actually work together. They're trying to iron things out. You get to see good relationship between Bob and Sasha, and you get to see another confession with I forgot that girl's name, but she talks to Maggie saying that she worked with the governor, but she had no idea who the actual governor was and how evil he was. And she confessed to Maggie about what happened, and it looked like Maggie forgives her for the whole situation. So a lot of cool elements in here. So now in this actual episode, we get introduced to Gabriel. That's right. Gabriel is the preacher that's in the comic book series. Gabriel Stokes is his name, and he was actually introduced right here in The Walking Dead issue number 61 in the comic book. So now you have a timeline of where the show actually takes place, if you're wondering where it takes place in the comic book series, if you're looking for a comparison. And if you're not familiar with the comic book series is on issue 132. So they're about 60-something issues back from where the show takes place. So it was really cool to see Gabriel that did a nice job on showing who he was, what type of character, how he was, how scared he was, how he was just not able to handle zombies at all. He's very sensitive to everything. In the episode, we get to see Rick really grilling him because he doesn't trust anybody. And, Carl shows something to his dad that, not everybody is going to be bad. And he was trying to let his dad know that, give this guy a chance. And so we find out in the episode that the group has to go and get food because they're running low on supplies. Gabriel takes them to a place, a food bank, where they were storing food. They come across a zombie battle. They wind up prevailing in the episode, and they wind up bringing back a whole bunch of food. And we wind up seeing now that as they're celebrating their food grab, we see that Abraham makes a toast, announces to the group that, hey, we need to make this trip to Washington. Do we want to start the human race over again? Everyone winds up agreeing, and everything's all happy-go-lucky in the actual episode. Bob winds up walking away. He's very grateful for being alive because he was attacked for a zombie, and the next thing you see is that he's attacked by somebody else, and he winds up waking up in the episode. Okay? And now this is a spoiler, so I need to, if you guys don't want to see this part, please fast forward this, okay? He wakes up and his freaking leg is missing. So when I saw that and I saw burning and flames and everything, I knew exactly where this show was going to and what story arc that they were representing, and that was going to the Hunters story arc, which takes place in the very next issue, which is issue number 62. And instead of Dale in the comic book series was the one that was being eaten by the Hunters, it is Bob in this episode, and you get to see that, and you get to see great dialogue between the main person behind Terminus. And I thought that in this actual whole Walking Dead series that Terminus was their version of the Hunters storyline, but in all originality, this was just the origin by where Terminus was. And being that Rick and the group wound up taking their home, they're forceful to get revenge on Rick and the group, which is a much better storyline, because basically what happens in the comic book is that the Hunters, Rick and the group just came across the Hunters and they were just hunting people. This makes a better storyline for that arc because they have some kind of revenge to go after Rick and his group, and they capture Bob and they start eating Bob. So I thought it was very well done, and it's great to take the Terminus storyline to the next level. I really enjoyed the ending, and when I saw that again, I was just dancing around like a little kid, hopping around a bonfire or something. I don't know, but it was insane, and I loved it, and I loved the direction where they're going with it. In the comic book series, it lasts for about 5 issues. How long will it last in the TV show? I'm not sure. They might slow it down a little bit, but this was a great story arc to introduce. I thought they kind of just maybe breezed over the whole thing, but they didn't. They went back to it, and it is the Hunters, and it tells you a good part of where you're at compared to the comic book series, because again, we get the Hunters. After the Hunters, you got Alexandria, where they come to their community, and then after that, maybe you go on to Negan or whatnot. I'm not sure how they're going to change that up, but for now, we got the Hunter storyline. I thought it was really good. The main villain, he's just sick and twisted, weird, you know. And the greatest part of this episode was the end. Again, another spoiler is when they physically sit there and are eating pieces of Bob in front of him while he is awake. And it was crazy, man. I was like, damn! So, guys, man, this was a good episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I have. I know as a TV viewer, you may not be as pumped as I am for it because I'm the comic book reader, so I can relate to it. I've read it before, and I know where they're kind of going with this. It'll be interesting how they change it, but for me as a comic fan, I really enjoyed this story. So, guys, leave me your comments below what you thought of this episode, what you think of this storyline. And, guys, that's all I have for you. And, as always, thank you for watching Comic Frontline. I'm giving this episode a 4 out of 5 because just for the fact being is that it was really slow throughout the episode until the end. And we might find out who Bethany's capture is as well. So we'll see where that goes. But again, guys, 4 out of 5 for me. Not that perfect episode because it took a lot to get to that dramatic point. But guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Frontline. And until the next review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Take care, guys. Bye.